In the annals of ancient history, the characters of Lilith and Lucifer emerge as enigmatic figures whose stories resonate through various cultures and texts. Lilith is often traced back to Mesopotamian mythology, where she is portrayed as a female demon associated with the night. Early references depict her as a primordial figure, a dark counterpart to the more familiar narratives surrounding creation. In some interpretations of the Babylonian myth of the Epic of Gilgamesh, she appears as a seductive entity who preys upon men and newborns, illustrating her complexity as both a symbol of female independence and a figure of fear. The name Lilith itself has its roots in the Sumerian term Lilitu, meaning night spirit. This connection to the night hints at her darker associations, raising questions about why a character who embodies seduction and threat continues to intrigue us throughout the ages. On the other hand, Lucifer's journey is equally steeped in mystery. What began as a name meaning light-bringer in Latin would eventually transform into the embodiment of rebellion and defiance against divine order. Early Christian texts, particularly in interpretations of the Book of Isaiah, introduce Lucifer as a once glorious angel cast from heaven due to his pride. His fall is not merely an act of disobedience, but signals a profound transformation from light to darkness. The symbolism here is crucial. Lucifer represents the struggle against authoritarian control, frequently resonating with those who feel marginalized or persecuted. This archetype has evolved over time, morphing Lucifer into a misunderstood figure who challenges the status quo rather than an outright villain. It raises the intriguing question: how does the lore surrounding Lucifer compel us to reconsider our notions of morality? As we explore the interplay between Lilith and Lucifer, we uncover potential threads that connect these two powerful figures. Both are steeped in rebellion, Lilith defying the patriarchal constraints of her creation stories, and Lucifer standing against divine decree. Their origins tell not just tales of darkness, but rather narratives of empowerment, rebellion, and the quest for identity. Are they allies in the fight against oppressive forces? Or do their mythos reveal a deeper adversarial relationship, fueling their individual narratives? This complex dynamic invites us to reflect on our own understanding of good and evil, questioning whether these legends serve solely as warnings or as calls for liberation from societal norms. Their rich histories and the layers of interpretation they inspire underscore not only an echo of the past, but also a profound relevance in contemporary discussions about autonomy, power, and internal conflict. The rebellious spirit of Lilith is forged in her refusal to accept the confines of obedience imposed upon her by a male-dominated society. According to various Jewish texts, Lilith was created as the first woman, meant to be Adam's equal. However, when she chose to assert her independence rather than succumb to submission, she was cast out of Eden. This rejection not only marks the beginning of her notorious reputation as a demon, but also highlights the broader themes of female empowerment and resistance. Lilith's myth reflects a powerful rejection of patriarchal authority, making her a symbol for those who defy oppressive norms. As we consider her story, we can't help but wonder, does Lilith's defiance resonate with modern struggles for equality and recognition? Similarly, the narrative surrounding Lucifer is steeped in themes of rebellion against divine authority. Often regarded as the ultimate fallen angel, Lucifer's prideful desire to ascend to the same heights as God leads to his expulsion from heaven. Rather than being viewed simply as a cautionary tale of hubris, Lucifer's story raises complex questions about the nature of power and the right to question it. His defiance of divine order speaks to a deeper longing for autonomy and self-determination, traits that have garnered him a following among those who reject constraints imposed by traditional belief systems. As we unravel Lucifer's myth, we might ask ourselves, what drives a being of light to challenge the very order of creation? When we examine the interplay between Lilith and Lucifer, their rebellious narratives begin to intertwine, showcasing a duality of defiance that transcends mere demonic archetypes. Both figures personify the struggle against oppressive systems, making them icons for those who dare to challenge the status quo. Are they collaborating in the shadows of rebellion, Or do their stories reveal a rivalry driven by their individual quest for freedom? This tension invites us to explore the diverse expressions of rebellion in both figures, leading to compelling reflections on the nature of choice, identity, and the pursuit of liberation. As we contemplate their complex legacies, we find ourselves engaging with timeless themes that resonate deeply within our contemporary lives, ultimately prompting us to question the definitions of heroism and villainy in our ongoing struggle against oppressive forces. Lilith's tale begins with a striking assertion of independence, a narrative stemming from ancient texts that position her as the first wife of Adam. Unlike Eve, who was created from Adam's rib, Lilith was said to emerge from the same earth as him, symbolizing equality right from the start. This origin story is crucial to understanding her powerful symbolism. When faced with the expectation to submit to Adam, Lilith resisted, asserting her right to be an equal partner. Her choice to leave Eden rather than compromise her autonomy enshrines her as a potent symbol of female empowerment. As we explore her story, the question arises: how does Lilith's pursuit of equality continue to resonate with contemporary notions of feminism and autonomy today? In different cultures, Lilith's image has morphed into a multifaceted icon representing both independence and the darker aspects of femininity. In Jewish folklore, for example, she is depicted as a seductress and a demon, preying upon men and infants. These dual narratives create an intriguing complexity. She is both feared and revered, embodying the paradox of feminine power. For some, Lilith captures the fears associated with strong women who defy societal norms. Her connection to the night, often seen as both dangerous and liberating, further solidifies her status as an outsider. As we consider how various interpretations of Lilith have evolved, we can't help but ponder: what does it say about society's view of women who dare to break boundaries? And why do such narratives persist throughout history? The rich symbolism surrounding Lilith serves as a cultural reflection on women's struggles against oppression. As she reclaims her identity, Lilith inspires new generations to embrace their own independence and challenge societal expectations. Through literature, art, and modern spiritual practices, her legacy has evolved into a rallying cry for women seeking liberation. Lilith transforms from a figure of darkness into a beacon of resilience and autonomy, encouraging a deeper exploration of what it means to be free. As we continue to unravel her story, we find ourselves contemplating the ongoing battle for women's rights and representation. In what ways does Lilith's journey inspire us to confront the shadows of our own societal constraints, whether they be internal or external? Her tale beckons us to examine the complexities of independence, making her an enduring figure whose story remains relevant in our quest for equality. Lucifer's story begins with brilliance, an entity who was once esteemed as the light-bringer in celestial realms. His very name evokes images of purity and enlightenment, suggesting a being of immense potential and beauty. However, the pivotal moment in his narrative comes when this brilliance transforms into ambition, leading to his infamous fall from grace. According to Christian doctrine, it was Lucifer's pride that sparked rebellion, his desire to rise above the divine hierarchy, resulting in his expulsion from heaven. This descent is not merely a tale of sin. It's the onset of a complex journey that challenges our understanding of morality. As we explore Lucifer's path, we must ask, is his fall truly a mark of failure, or does it signify a profound evolution of identity? Post-fall, Lucifer embodies a striking duality. He is both savior and sinner. In the wake of his rebellion, he transforms into a figure who questions divine authority and liberates those who feel oppressed by rigid structures of power. This role resonates with those who find themselves marginalized or victimized by established norms, inviting admiration and allegiance. Many see him not as a villain, but as a symbol of resistance, representing the quest for personal freedom. This complexity invites us to reconsider our traditional notions of good and evil. How does Lucifer's story compel us to examine the very foundations of authority and the morality that underpins it? In contemporary culture, Lucifer's narrative continues to evolve, transcending traditional interpretations to evoke discussions about the nature of rebellion and autonomy. His character challenges the binary view of hero and villain, embodying a journey that reflects human struggles for identity and purpose. Rather than solely representing sin, Lucifer stands as a figure who highlights the importance of choice and the consequences that follow. This multifaceted view of his character encourages us to reflect on our own lives. Are we drawn to the light, yet aware of the darkness that often accompanies it? Lucifer's legacy has become a mirror, reflecting our aspirations and fears, serving as a reminder that within the journey of every fallen being, there exists the potential for redemption and a chance to reshape one's destiny. In examining the narratives of both Lilith and Lucifer, one cannot overlook the powerful symbolism of serpents and shadows that intertwine their stories. Serpents have long been associated with themes of wisdom, temptation, and transformation, and their presence serves as a potent motif in the mythology surrounding both figures. For Lilith, the serpent embodies the spirit of rebellion and a connection to the forbidden. She is often depicted alongside serpentine imagery, emphasizing her role as a seductress who embodies the knowledge that challenges societal norms. This connection invites further reflection on the nature of wisdom and the price one pays for seeking it. When we see a serpent in the context of Lilith, we are left to ponder, what truths lie in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered? Lucifer, too, harnesses the symbolism of the serpent in his narrative journey. The association of serpents with cunning and mastery of the hidden adds layers to Lucifer's character, representing a duality of light and dark. In many interpretations, the serpent connects with ideas of free will and the pursuit of knowledge. This suggests that Lucifer, often viewed as a figure of temptation, also champions the quest for understanding beyond the confines of imposed morality. The serpent becomes an emblem of defiance, reinforcing Lucifer's image as a transformative force resisting the status quo. This dynamic relationship between Lucifer and serpents compels us to ask, in what ways do we find ourselves navigating the delicate balance between knowledge and rebellion in our lives? Moreover, the shadows cast by both Lilith and Lucifer act as a reminder of the complexity of their characters and the consequences of their actions. Shadows signify not only the darker aspects of their legacies, but also the hidden depths of their motivations. For Lilith, the shadows represent her struggles against oppression and the reclamation of her identity as a symbol of female empowerment. In Lucifer's case, shadows embody the internal struggles faced by those who dare to challenge authority. Together, these symbols encourage us to confront not just the darkness surrounding these figures, but also the shadows within ourselves. As we explore their intertwined narratives, we can better understand how Lilith and Lucifer, through their shared symbols, invite us into a deeper conversation about rebellion, empowerment, and the knowledge that comes from embracing our own darkness. The stories of Lilith and Lucifer have echoed through history, evolving as they resonate across different cultures and time periods. Lilith's myth emerged in ancient Mesopotamian traditions, where she was initially portrayed as a night spirit, with her representation as a symbol of both danger and autonomy. Her narrative began to shift over centuries. By the time Jewish mysticism took hold, Lilith transformed into a figure embodying female rebellion against male authority. This transition from a shadowy entity to a powerful symbol of independence captures the ongoing struggle for women's rights. As society evolves, Lilith's influence resonates in modern feminist movements, prompting us to ask, how have her narratives empowered contemporary discussions about autonomy and identity? Similarly, Lucifer's evolution has been marked by the transformation of his identity from a figure of celestial light to that of a fallen angel. In early Christian texts, he was seen as a beautiful and powerful figure whose pride led to a catastrophic fall, illuminating themes of ambition and the consequences of challenging divine order. Over the centuries, this portrayal has shifted, with more interpretations emphasizing his role as a liberator and challenger of oppressive authority. Modern retellings often present Lucifer in a nuanced light, inviting a sympathetic view of his rebellion against the rigid structures of power. This layered understanding compels us to consider: in what ways do our perceptions of Lucifer reflect society's changing attitudes toward authority and personal freedom? Today, both Lilith and Lucifer serve as cultural touchstones that provoke discussion about rebellion, empowerment, and the complexities of moral choice. They resonate in literature, film, and art, often representing the struggles of marginalized figures seeking to carve out their identities in a world that seeks to constrain them. The increasing reinterpretation of both characters reflects a broader societal yearning for complexity in our narratives, where good and evil are not rigid definitions, but intricate concepts. As contemporary audiences connect with their stories, they remind us that the journey of self-discovery is often riddled with conflict and contradiction. This invites us to explore how the echoes of Lilith and Lucifer in modern interpretations encourage us to confront our understanding of rebellion, autonomy, and the shades of gray that define our moral landscape. As we explore the stories of Lilith and Lucifer, a captivating hypothesis emerges. Could these two iconic figures have been allies in their shared rebellion against oppression? Both embody powerful symbols of defiance, with Lilith's rejection of Adam's authority reflecting a rebellion against patriarchal constraints. Meanwhile, Lucifer's challenge to divine authority represents a fight against oppressive systems that stifle autonomy. Their narratives resonate deeply, inviting us to envision a potential partnership in confronting the dominant forces of their respective mythologies. But this raises an intriguing question. If they were indeed allies, what might their collaboration signify for the ongoing quest for freedom and identity in our own lives? However, the idea of Lilith and Lucifer as partners in rebellion is not without its complications. Their individual narratives are marked by profound differences in motivation and consequence. While both figures resist authority, they do so in unique contexts that may render their paths more adversarial than collaborative. Lilith's fight is deeply rooted in the desire for equality and recognition in a patriarchal world, whereas Lucifer's rebellion emerges from pride and a quest for power. This distinction invites us to consider whether their struggles align harmoniously or if they reflect a divergent approach to the concept of rebellion. In exploring these complexities, we are left to wonder: do Lilith and Lucifer ultimately serve as mirrors to each other's struggles, or do their differing motivations create a fundamental divide? In contemporary interpretations, the relationship between Lilith and Lucifer ultimately invites us to reassess our understanding of rebellion and moral complexity. As symbols of independence, they prompt discussions about the nature of power, temptation, and the battles inherent in seeking freedom from oppression. Whether as allies or adversaries, their legacies remind us that rebellion is seldom clear-cut. It is entangled with personal motivations, societal constraints, and the shadows of one's own character. This intricate interplay between Lilith and Lucifer encourages us to reflect on our own struggles against oppressive forces, urging us to confront the shades of gray in our moral landscapes. As we explore their intertwined destinies, we might just find that the fight for autonomy knows no singular path, but rather a multitude of journeys that inspire, challenge, and ultimately liberate. Lilith stands as a powerful representation of feminine power and sexuality, embodying the complexities of female independence and desire. In her original narrative, she is cast as the first wife of Adam, designed to be his equal. However, her refusal to submit to domination quickly transforms her from a symbol of feminine equality into one of rebellion and seduction. This shift highlights an essential aspect of her character. She refuses to be constrained by patriarchal expectations. Instead, Lilith embraces her sensuality, promoting an image of a woman who is not only free, but unapologetically in control of her own desires. As we explore Lilith's role, we are compelled to ask how her representation has evolved over time, influencing contemporary discussions around female empowerment and sexual liberation. In contrast, Lucifer's narrative is steeped in themes of masculine rebellion. Initially a luminous angel, he embodies strength and ambition, but ultimately succumbs to pride, which leads to his downfall. His rebellion against divine authority reflects a quest for power and the aspiration to ascend to greater heights. But it also unveils vulnerabilities often linked to masculinity. Unlike Lilith, whose power is conferred through her radical autonomy and control over her own body and choices, Lucifer's prowess is intertwined with a struggle for dominance. This contrast between the two figures raises fascinating questions about how society perceives masculine and feminine strength. As we examine these differing representations, we're prompted to consider, what do these narratives reveal about the societal standards imposed on gender roles? When we juxtapose Lilith's embodiment of feminine sexuality with Lucifer's narrative of masculine ambition, we gain insight into the broader discourse surrounding power and rebellion. Lilith's sexuality serves not only as a means of empowerment, but also as a challenging force against patriarchal control, redefining the narrative of women within the context of desire. Meanwhile, Lucifer's rebellious spirit encourages a re-evaluation of authority and autonomy, but often through a lens of conflict and pride. Their stories intertwine, revealing deeper societal truths about gender dynamics and the complexities of power. As we reflect on these narratives, we are reminded that both Lilith and Lucifer, in their respective journeys, serve as icons challenging us to rethink the constructs of strength, independence, and the true nature of rebellion. Ultimately, their contrasting yet complementary roles invite us to explore what it means to be powerful in a world fraught with limitations and expectations. Throughout history, both Lilith and Lucifer have captured the imaginations of occult traditions, leading to myriad interpretations that intertwine their stories within various mystical communities. In some esoteric practices, Lilith is viewed as a powerful archetype of feminine wisdom and intuition, while Lucifer embodies the spark of enlightenment. Scholars and seekers often interpret their connection as one of mutual empowerment, suggesting that both figures represent the liberation of the self from oppressive systems. This perspective creates a narrative in which Lilith's embrace of her dark, potent femininity complements Lucifer's pursuit of knowledge and autonomy, establishing them as kindred spirits in the quest for personal freedom. As we explore these interpretations, we're invited to ponder, what might their alliance tell us about our own pursuit of wisdom and emancipation? In the realm of Kabbalistic thought, the connections between Lilith and Lucifer grow even richer. Some Kabbalists view Lilith as a significant figure representing the Qliphoth, which embodies the dark, shadowy aspects of creation. Within this framework, Lucifer can be seen as a light within that darkness, illuminating the paths towards self-awareness and authenticity. This duality presents Lilith not merely as a destructive force, but rather as a necessary component of spiritual growth and exploration. The synthesis of their energies in Kabbalistic traditions challenges us to consider the value of integrating both light and darkness in our spiritual journeys. How might embracing these seemingly opposing forces lead us to a more complete understanding of ourselves? Moreover, contemporary occult traditions, including modern witchcraft and neopaganism, often celebrate both Lilith and Lucifer as icons of rebellious spirit and liberation. Practitioners may incorporate their energies into rituals and spell work, invoking both figures as symbols of empowerment against unjust authority. In this context, Lilith serves as a beacon of feminine strength and sexuality, while Lucifer embodies the quest for knowledge and personal sovereignty. This united front against repression encourages practitioners to view their stories not as isolated myths, but as narratives that reflect the struggles faced in today's world. Ultimately, as we examine these multifaceted interpretations, we gain insight into the enduring relevance of Lilith and Lucifer, challenging us to reconcile our own inner conflicts and seek empowerment through the harmonious embrace of both light and shadow. The concept of rebellion takes on a nuanced form when viewed through the dual lenses of Lilith and Lucifer. Both figures embody the spirit of defiance, yet represent fundamentally different motivations and consequences. Lilith's rebellion is grounded in a quest for equality and independence, challenging the patriarchal structures that seek to confine her. By refusing to bow to Adam, she asserts her autonomy, symbolizing the fight for women's rights and personal agency. Her rebellion raises essential questions about the moral implications of fighting against societal norms. Is rebellion justified when it seeks to reclaim fundamental rights? How does one navigate the consequences that come with such defiance? In contrast, Lucifer's rebellion unfolds in a realm of pride and ambition. Originally a being of light, he falls from grace in a quest to challenge God's authority. His defiance is often interpreted as a quest for knowledge and enlightenment. However, it is marred by the pride that leads to his downfall. This creates a compelling dialogue about the nature of freedom. Does the quest for personal sovereignty become tainted when it is rooted in hubris? Lucifer invites us to explore the darker elements of rebellion, prompting reflection on how ambition can blur moral boundaries. As we compare these two narratives, we must ask ourselves, can rebellion stem from noble intentions but still lead to morally ambiguous outcomes? When we examine Lilith and Lucifer together, their stories compel us to consider the broader implications of rebellion within our own lives. Each figure serves as a reminder that the pursuit of freedom is rarely straightforward. It is intertwined with complex moral dilemmas that challenge our values. Lilith's determination for autonomy resonates with contemporary struggles for equality, while Lucifer's ambition questions the costs of pursuing one's desires. Their duality invites us to ponder the fine line between liberation and destruction, urging us to confront the ethical dimensions of our own acts of rebellion. Ultimately, as we navigate our individual journeys, we must recognize that both light and darkness play crucial roles in defining our understanding of freedom, morality, and the paths we choose to take in forging our identities. In contemporary media, Lilith and Lucifer have emerged as compelling figures that resonate with modern audiences, often reimagined in ways that amplify their symbolic significance. Lilith, for instance, is frequently portrayed in literature, film, and television as an embodiment of feminine empowerment and independence. Many modern interpretations emphasize her status as a rebellious icon who defies patriarchal norms. Shows like Supernatural and graphic novels featuring demonic characters often present her as a complex figure, one who navigates her identity in a male-dominated world. This appeal to contemporary feminism highlights not only her strength, but also her struggle, inviting discussions about the ongoing fight for women's rights. As we reflect on this, it raises an important question. How does Lilith's portrayal serve as a mirror for contemporary societal challenges faced by women today? Lucifer, meanwhile, occupies a dynamic space in modern media, often framed as a charming antihero who embodies the complexities of rebellion. His portrayal in series such as Lucifer presents him as a figure who questions authority and seeks redemption, appealing to audiences who are drawn to flawed yet relatable characters. This modern interpretation emphasizes Lucifer's dual nature. He is both a sinner and a seeker of truth, navigating the gray areas of moral conduct. Such representations prompt viewers to engage with themes of free will, the nature of good and evil, and the consequences of defying societal expectations. As we consider these layers, we might ask ourselves, what does Lucifer's enduring popularity reveal about our own desires for autonomy and understanding of complex moral landscapes? Both Lilith and Lucifer serve as cultural touchstones that provoke dialogue about freedom, power, and identity in contemporary society. Their stories resonate deeply within modern art, literature, and spiritual practices, inspiring a myriad of interpretations that reflect evolving cultural values. From feminist critiques of patriarchy to explorations of personal freedom and redemption, the symbolism surrounding these figures encourages individuals to confront their own struggles with authority and self-identity. As we examine their modern portrayals, it becomes clear that Lilith and Lucifer not only reflect the challenges of their respective mythologies, but also engage with the timeless, universal issues of human existence. They remind us that the quest for meaning, autonomy, and understanding is as relevant today as it was in ancient times, weaving their narratives into the fabric of contemporary cultural consciousness. As we pull together the intricate narratives of Lilith and Lucifer, it becomes increasingly clear that these two figures, while distinct, may serve as profound reflections of each other's struggles. Both characters challenge authority and seek autonomy, aligning them under the banner of rebellion. Lilith's fight for recognition and equality juxtaposed with Lucifer's quest for knowledge and defiance against oppressive forces creates a compelling dynamic. Their stories illuminate not just their individual battles, but also the collective challenges faced by those who refuse to conform to societal expectations. This interconnectedness urges us to consider the deeper implications of their rebellion. Are they solitary figures in their struggles, or do they represent a united front against the darkness imposed upon them? In contemplating their potential alliance, we must also address the complexities of loyalty and morality inherent in their narratives. While both Lilith and Lucifer embody the spirit of rebellion, their motivations and the consequences of their actions push the boundaries of what we define as good or evil. This duality invites us to reflect on the nature of loyalty. Can one be loyal to a cause or ideology while simultaneously navigating the treacherous waters of self-interest? Are Lilith and Lucifer ultimately fighting for the same values? Or do their paths diverge due to their unique motivations? As they traverse their respective journeys, they compel us to examine our own allegiances in the face of oppression and the moral dilemmas that accompany our choices. As we conclude this exploration, the narratives of Lilith and Lucifer leave us with thought-provoking questions that resonate through history and continue to find relevance today. What does loyalty mean when faced with the complexities of rebellion? Are their struggles a cautionary tale about the nature of evil, or a celebration of the power that comes with embracing darkness? By examining Lilith and Lucifer's intertwined destinies, we uncover not just the essence of their characters, but also the layers of nuance in our understanding of rebellion, power, and the human condition.